Guys, how you doing? So, Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former lawyer, says that he said a number of not mildly racist, terribly racist things. So, I'm going to explain all that to you. Four main anecdotes he has. So, let's start out nice and easy. Apparently, he was driving through Chicago, and he told Michael Cohen, "Only black people can live like this." Okay. Now, that's a starter. It's an appetizer. You might think like, well, if you're racist, you might think that's not that big a deal. I mean, white people wouldn't live in poverty. No way. White people do crime. No way. Only black people. Okay, I told you, we're just warming up. All right, we go to point number two. And apparently Trump had talked about Nelson Mandela shortly after his death and told Michael Cohen, name one country run by a black person that's not a shithole. Name one city. Okay? Now, how much does that sound like Donald Trump? Obviously, with his famous comments about shithole countries, which were predominantly African American, not African American, black. Okay, because there are other countries. Anyway, so I talked about it on the show today. They're constantly attacking our places, like, oh, Georgia's where hardworking people are, right? And of course, they don't mean inner city Atlanta. They mean the Republican areas, right? Well, look, we work hard in progressive areas, and there's wonderful places throughout the world in here. I don't have to explain it. It's so freaking obvious. But the reason I brought it up is because they're like, oh yeah, Chicago and these cities run by black Democrats. They talk about that talking point all the time. Oh, they're so terrible because of Democrats. Really? How about the places you guys run? Mississippi, Alabama, at the very bottom of every economic ranking, education ranking, healthcare ranking. You guys ran those states into the ground. Now, of course, we're not racist like you, so we wouldn't say like, oh, white people don't know how to run things. That would be preposterous, right? But what you don't think if you're a right-winger is that it's preposterous that to say the opposite. Oh, black people can't run things. You think that's perfectly normal. Donald Trump thinks that's perfectly normal. When I say you, obviously, I mean the Trump supporters, the MAGA guys. Okay. So that's already terrible, but I told you there's four, and they keep getting worse. So number three, Michael Cohen apparently pointed out that some of his rallies were so white, overwhelmingly white. There's almost no minorities there. And he said, quote, that's because black people are too stupid to vote for me. I told you, every time he talks about an African American, he calls them low IQ. Maxine Waters, low IQ. LeBron James, low IQ. Omarosa, who he hired over and over again, low IQ. Why does he only refer to black people as low IQ? Because he thinks absolutely that they are stupid, which is enormously ironic because he's one of the dumbest people in public life that we have ever seen, right? But he thinks, no, you don't judge people based on their merit. I mean, he bankrupted himself 6 different times, but he's not low IQ? No, he thinks that's because I'm white. He talks about his superior genes all the time, how he's got good genetics, right? Because he views the world through race. So he thinks I'm white, by definition I must be smart. LeBron James is black, by definition he must be stupid. Okay, so, and now this confirms that he calls black people stupid all the time. And finally, apparently there was an episode of Apprentice where Bill Rancic, who I think we interviewed a million years ago on the Young Turks, and Kwame Jackson were having a fight between each other, and they were the last contestants, according to this, okay? And so Trump apparently, according to Michael Cohen, remember Michael Cohen's not just his lawyer, his fixer, his right-hand man for all this time, okay, said Trump was explaining his back and forth about not picking Jackson as the winner. He said, quote, there's no way I can let this black fucking win. End of this. The guy is deeply, deeply racist. And that is his top guy absolutely confirming it. Now, if you don't want to believe it, despite all of the overwhelming evidence and his right-hand man saying it, well, that's on you. And you should look in the mirror and try to figure out why it is, in fact, that you don't think those things are so bad, or you refuse to believe in reality. Reality is, as we explained on the show, live show today again, that at his rally, one of his top-selling shirts is Trump, : he says what I think. A lot of his supporters don't like him despite this. They like him because because of this. At least for everyone else, they should know who Donald Trump really